Hello everyone, thank you for joining us today. My name is Tiffany Garcia and I'm a librarian at the San Jose Public Library. Today we will be making a couple of wind catchers for the 4th of July. We will get started with this craft. What you will need for this first activity is a ruler, paper plate, yarn, hole punch, red and blue paint, preferably washable, a paintbrush, paint cup with water, a napkin, and a pencil. You will first need your paper plate. Now go ahead and grab your ruler and your pencil, and it doesn't have to be perfect, just as long as you have sort of a corner for the blue part of your flag. I'm just going to be drawing a straight line as much as possible, and I'm going to go ahead and make the bottom part of the blue part of the flag. And this blue part of the flag is actually called a canton, the union of all 50 states. Now I'm going to start making my line marks, and they will be about 0.75 inches apart. After this, I should have 13 lines. We will make sure to have 7 red stripes and 6 white stripes. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I'm going to set this plate aside so I can start working on my stars. To do this, you will need a pencil and your white piece of paper. I am just drawing out stars here. That way I will just cut them out. At the very least, you will want to have 4, but you can add more if you can fit it into the your canton, your blue section of your flag. Cutting stars can be a little tricky, and so for me, what I'm doing is cutting little by little. So what I've been doing is cutting on one side to the middle part of the star, and then switch the other side, and that way it just becomes loose and I pull it off. See, you'll see here a cut on the left side, move it over, and then cut the right side and then pull it off. Here, I'll do it again for you. So cut on the right side, just a little bit in, and then on the left side, and see how it came right off. It's the outer part of the star. And just keep cutting the excessive pieces. I'm not going to use this for anything else, so I'm just going to go ahead and cut these excessive white pieces off. And it's a little trap there, so I'm going to cut this off now. And now just cut that part and see how it comes right off. So continue to do this for all your stars, or if you have another way, feel free to. But trying to keep those star edges sharp, I'm doing it this way. It's much easier. Yes, it may still have pencil on this side, but I'm going to add the glue on that side and just show this clear white side on the craft when I'm ready. And now I have all my stars. But before we start gluing, I'm going to make a hole using my hole puncher here. If you don't have a hole puncher, if you have an adult, they might be able to make a little hole on the top of your plate for you in a different way. So now I have my hole, and so now I'm going to be able to start painting and I won't have to worry about making that hole later. Now maybe you have an extra plate or something to put your paint on. I do not, so I'm just adding a little bit as I go. Adding a little bit of paint onto the paintbrush or onto the plate itself. Either way will do. So here I'm just going a little faster here just to show you, because it could take a while to do this. I'm just going gently, but for you guys I'm going to fast forward a little bit. Because I will be using the same brush, I am trying to clear it by having a little cup here with water and mix it around, and now I'm going to use my paper towel to clean it and trying to get the blue out as much as possible, because if I mix blue with red it's going to make purple. I don't want that on my flag here. And now it is time to add the red stripes. So you may have noticed I didn't make a line across each of the lines. You can, but I think I can do a good enough job going across with estimation. So I'm just getting some of the red paint. Remember, I don't have anything to add my red paint to get it out of, so I'm just dunking it into my bottle there. But yeah, so you want to start with the red stripe because the red stripe is on top. So my red hasn't been used in a while, so may need to shake that a little bit. Okay, so I went ahead and shaked it off camera and added some of the paint into the top cap there, and now I'm doing my next line here. And you can go back and repaint it to make sure it's as red as possible. Trying to go all the way across and go gently, because to try to make the straight lines if you can. No worries if you go a little off, but just trying to get it right there. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And once I'm done painting this, I will let it dry for about 5 to 10 minutes. Now that it is dry, I am going to go ahead and start gluing. I'm just going to add a little dollop on the back of the star. And if this is the one with the pencil, I'm sorry, these are all with pencil marks here. I'm just adding a little dollop on the pencil side and positioning them. I'm gonna put them in these 4 stars separately. You can add more if you like, but I'm just gonna add 4 stars here. And here I'm adding a little dollop again on the second star and placing it on the bottom there. And then I'm going to add 2, one on the left and one on the right. Now it is time to get your piece of yarn, and depending on where you're planning on hanging it, I'm just going to use this little piece here. It's about 2 feet here. So I just put it through the hole. You can add an extra punch hole on the left or right side of it so that it will guarantee it will be facing forward. But for me, I'm just hanging it around a post here. Now I'm going to grab my yarn piece, which is about 2 feet here, and gonna go ahead and put it through the hole. It really depends on where you're going to hang this. So I'm just going to tie this around a post. So I just need the 1 punch hole, but if you want to make sure it stays looking forward against a post or something, you'll want to have an extra punch hole on the right side of your already made punch hole. Now we are going to make our second wind catcher. For this activity, you will need a paper plate, a white piece of paper, a red piece of paper, yarn, a pair of scissors, a hole puncher, blue paint, and a paintbrush. Oh, and also a pencil. Getting your paper plate, you're going to fold it in half. And evenly on both sides. Fold it all the way in half and then smooth it out. And then start pinching in the center all the way. And then once you are ready, you are going to get your scissors and only cut the middle part of your paper plate. So you're not starting from all the way at the end, but just right here where it starts to be flat. Cut it a little bit off because you'll get a little opening once you unfold it, and just right there stop cutting, and then you'll see here as I open it, you see the little crack there, a little crack. Yeah, that should be enough. We'll see if we need to cut more later, but that's going to be our start off point there. And now with your blue paint, go ahead and paint it all the way all over it to just the outside here. And it doesn't have to be perfect, I'm just leaving it kind of like a rustic look there. And then let it dry. So set that aside, and now we're going to work on the stripes. So you're going to get your red and white paper. I do have a paper cutter, but if you don't have it, you can measure it about half an inch. So I will need 7 red stripes and 6 white stripes. And because I'm using a paper cutter here, I'm just going to go ahead and cut 7 for both, and then I'll just take one of the white stripes out. Now that I am done making my stripes, I'm going to start putting them together so that they will look like flags of stripes coming down from the paper plate. What I'm going to go ahead and do is actually use one of the white stripes I have and use it as a base. So I'm going to start gluing each of these stripes onto that one extra strip. So here's the extra strip here. I just cut a little piece off, and now I'm going to start gluing them on. Now this is going to end up going through that cut hole that I made on the paper plate. It's going to slide in, so make sure to try to estimate and make sure that it will be able to squeeze in. You can cut more of the paper plate if you need to, but not make sure it's not too long, because otherwise it's not going to go through and then you're going to have a mess. So try to get it into the middle of the paper plate there as much as possible. So here I'm just gluing the strips onto this white one. So I started with the red stripe and then the red stripe, then white, then red, and then white again. And continue until I have 7 red stripes on it, and then 6 white stripes. I made it maybe a little too close. I was a little worried, but see, there's actually going to be plenty of space. And as you see here, it will be just enough. So I actually have an extra piece here. I'm just going to fold it over. It's not going to be visible, so I'm just going to fold it over. Looking at this now, I'm thinking I'm going to need to cut this just a tiny bit more. So I'm actually just going to cut inside, since I already have a hole there. That way, if it turns out I cut too much, it'll be easily hidden. But it should be okay. Just a tiny bit more, maybe. Move it out. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and slide it in. So just going through the crease there that I cut out. Slide it in. And on this side here, I'm going to go ahead and add some glue on both sides of the paper plate inside. You want to make sure that those red and white stripes stay in there. So now I'm going to go ahead and position it, make sure it's been in enough that the glue is grabbing onto it then, to everything, and press it down a little bit. Make sure that your paint is dry. Down, good. And we do not want bubbles, so try to smooth it out as much as possible. And yeah, there's some paint. Alright, with any extra white paper you have, you're going to go ahead and make your stars. So just draw a nice big star out. So you know what I'm actually going to go ahead and do is just cut. I have 2 pieces of paper here. I'm going to go ahead and cut it out. And then I'm going to use another corner of the sheet, cut that out too, so that I can double it up. And you know, one more time, I'm going to double it up. And so this should make 6 stars. So I have 6 layers of white paper here. And now I'm going to go ahead and cut out the star. and just cleaning it up a little bit. And then now I should have 6 stars once I separate them. So now we can go ahead and glue them. So go ahead and separate a star out from the stack and just add a dollop on the back side. See this pencil side here on this one star here. So I'm going to add a little dollop there and go ahead and place a star. I'm going to add 3. So one at the top and one on the left and one on the right on this side. And then I'm going to turn it over and do the same thing there. So now that we are done with the stars, we could add more glue inside, but we actually don't really have to, because you know what? We're going to make a hole punch and put the yarn through it. So it will be tied closed. You don't have to necessarily glue it. So here's my hole punch on the top. And now I'm going to add my piece of yarn. It's about 2 feet, just an estimation. You can make it longer or shorter. It's totally fine, just as long as it can hang somewhere. So go ahead and pull this through, and once that's done, I'm just tying a knot here so that it will stay closed. It doesn't open no matter what. So just pressing it down, and there, it's tied closed. Now we can hang it, and we're all done. Thank you for joining me in the Sounds Like Public Library. Please take a few minutes to fill out our program survey. For a complete list of other virtual programs, please visit sjpl.org/virtual programs. Also, don't forget to follow us at San Jose Library on Facebook and sign up for their newsletter at sjpl.org/e-newsletter to stay informed of all things SJPL. Have a great day.